Did you know Israel's first king was rejected by God and driven to consult a witch in his final days? His name was Saul, and his tragic fall is a chilling warning of what happens when disobedience battles divine will. Why did God turn away from him? What does this mean for you in 2025? Get ready. This is a spiritual decline you'll never forget. Back in 1047 BC, amid the rolling hills of Benjamin, a young man named Saul set out to find his father's lost donkeys, unaware his life was about to change forever. Chosen by God through the prophet Samuel, this tall, handsome figure from the smallest tribe became Israel's first king, a beacon of hope for a people craving leadership like the nations around them. His humble beginnings hinted at promise, yet beneath that exterior brewed a quiet insecurity, a doubt about his worthiness that would shape his destiny. Spiritually, this moment marked the start of a journey where trust in God's plan would be tested, setting the stage for a story that echoes into our lives today. Years later, on a tense battlefield in Gilgal around 1045 BC, Saul faced his first real trial. The Philistines loomed large, his soldiers deserted in fear, and Samuel's delay pushed him to the edge. Driven by a gripping fear of losing control, he stepped forward and offered a sacrifice, a role reserved for priests, hoping to rally his men. But this choice, born from panic rather than faith, cracked the foundation of his reign. Emotionally, he was torn by the weight of leadership. Psychologically, his need for approval overshadowed obedience. As God's spirit began to drift away, the seeds of his downfall took root, revealing a truth that still resonates. Even small acts of defiance can lead us astray. By 1043 BC, on a desolate plain where the Amalekites' camp smoldered, Saul's next misstep sealed his fate. God had commanded total destruction, yet Saul spared King Agag and the finest livestock, insisting it was for a noble sacrifice. Samuel's words cut deep. Obedience outweighs offerings, and because Saul rejected God's will, God rejected him as king. His desperate attempts to justify himself exposed a heart hardened by pride, blind to the gravity of his actions. Spiritually, this moment marked a turning point, a loss of divine favor that would haunt him. It's a stark reminder that half-hearted loyalty carries a heavy cost, a lesson as vital now as it was then. In the stormy shadows of Endor around 112 BC, Saul's desperation reached its peak. With the Philistines advancing and God silent, he sought the forbidden, a witch who could summon Samuel's spirit. Kneeling in that eerie cave, his trembling hands betrayed a man unhinged by fear and paranoia, clinging to any shred of hope. When Samuel's ghostly voice declared God's final judgment, his kingdom given to David, his death imminent, Saul collapsed, shattered by the weight of his choices. This dark turn into the occult revealed how far he'd fallen, a warning that turning from God opens doors to spiritual ruin. On the blood-soaked slopes of Mount Gilboa in 1012 BC, Saul's story reached its heartbreaking end. The Philistines crushed Israel, his sons Jonathan, Abinadab, and Malchishua lay dead and wounded. He fell on his own sword, unable to face capture. This act of despair closed a life once filled with promise, undone by a path of disobedience. Spiritually, it echoes the warning of Revelation 20 verse 15, turning from God leads to separation. Emotionally, his anguish reflects the cost of losing divine guidance. Psychologically, fear and pride eroded his faith. Today, in 2025, Saul's journey challenges us to examine our own hearts. Are we walking in full obedience or drifting toward ruin? Saul's story isn't just ancient history, it's a mirror for our souls in 2025. God calls us to obedience, not rebellion. Will you heed his voice or risk divine rejection? Seek him, trust him, and live for his glory. This is the spiritual warfare of our time.